Hey guys, what's down? And everyone's probably played with Legos before. Moreover, everyone's probably played Lego games. At least I hope so. There are people out there who haven't played Lego Batman, and what's the opposite of envy? One of those games is Lego Battles for the Nintendo DS. Now I know what you're saying. Yo SG, didn't you make a video on Lego Battles like forever ago? Yeah, but it was pretty inaccurate. And I've tried remaking it too many times to count. So let's do this one last time. Lego Battles was originally meant to be 3 separate games. Those 3 separate games being Lego Castles, Lego Pirates, and Lego Mars Mission, aka Space. When 2 people with completely different versions of these games played in multiplayer, they'd be able to mix up the themes. But somewhere down development they realized, well, these are all essentially the same game. They were on the same engines, they used the same graphics, so they decided, you know what? Screw it! And boom chicka boom, they were all merged into one game called Lego Battles.
He said it! He said it!
Looking back at it, that was pretty impressive. They managed to squeeze all this content together, which was a lot, by the way.
That's quite big. Impressive.
Each game was going to have 2 stories the player could go through. One where they basically play as the heroes, and one where they basically play as the villains. Now that the 3 games have been merged, well, there are essentially 6 whole stories to go through, each being 3 acts long. On top of that, give free play along with unlockable characters and maps, and you got a game you could play for a long time. So how does the game play? Well, unlike my old video where I said it was a tower defense game, this game is actually a real-time strategy game. The game starts off showing us the basics of the game. Essentially, you control mini Lego units that help you in certain ways. You got the most important unit being the builders. These guys are essential, so much so that this guy named Rincat has made videos trying to beat the game with only builders. I myself have tried this in Lego Ninjago battles. It's like trying to beat Plants vs Zombies without sunflowers. It's like, why not, you know? Builders can build buildings. They can also repair buildings.
What?
They also do damage, albeit a very low amount of damage, but hey, it exists. One building they can build is the castle. This is the most expensive building, but the most important. This building is where you go to create most builders. Builders can speed up the process of essentially anything, so a lot of them are useful. You also gotta use builders for one last thing, harvesting. You can tap a builder, then tap an area full of trees. The builder will then chop down the tree with the hammer. Hey, it's okay, man, I don't judge. Then the builders return to the castle, and this is how you collect bricks. Bricks are pretty much used to build more buildings and units, so be sure to harvest lots of them. We can build a barricade, which is a building where we generate normal fighting units. There are 3 types of normal fighting units. Basic melee attackers, ranged attackers that usually have less health than the former, and then just the strong, fast attackers for when you got enough bricks to spend. The Brick Wars, 64 bricks, 32 bricks, 16 bricks, 8 bricks, 4 bricks, 2 bricks, 1 brick, half brick, quarter brick, the Mega Block! Also, going back to the castle, builders aren't the only thing this castle is good for. It can also build a hero. The hero is the strongest unit in the game. First of all, it heals all types of units around it, except itself, obviously. It's also got more health and in some cases damage. It can speed up and repair buildings, similar to the builders. It's got the most amount of abilities, that's for sure. But most importantly, the hero has spells. These spells are the best part of the game, and differ sporadically. The king, aka the first hero we're allowed to use, has 4 spell options. The first 2 are always occupied by these 3 area boosts for every hero. Area speed boost, which I'm not the hugest fan of because it speeds up everyone but the hero, which means your hero will just be left behind. So none of your units will get healed by the hero if you just charge in the battle. So I prefer passing on the area speed boost, area attack boost, and area defense boost. Pretty self-explanatory for what they do and are decent cheap options. In case you're wondering, your magic has to recharge, but the boosts are really cheap, so you can't go wrong with the boost in defense or strength. Then there are the last 2 options, which are the strongest, most unique, and most expensive options. The king has tree growth and earthquake. Tree growth is a situational move, really only helpful for when you can't find trees to harvest from. Like I said, very situational, but it does have its uses. The last one, on the other hand, is a complete beast.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Earthquake is a super powerful move that damages any close units. It can one-shot builders, that's how strong it is. The only downside is that it uses the most amount of magic, but that's just to keep things balanced. It's still a really good move. Moving on to other buildings, we can build farms, which are necessary as they increase the limit on how many normal units and special units the player can have. Oh yeah, and speaking of special units, we got a building just for that. The special units can vary depending on what we play, but this is for sure. They are the strongest aside from the hero. There's a lumber mill, which is just a mini castle, at least in the sense that it's just a drop-off point for harvesting. Never found this building super important, but I guess in some cases, if you're playing for a long time, it could be useful. The next building we got is the tower, which is a unique building as it actually attacks the opposing units. They can be leveled up twice. This is an important building for the long run because the damage they can do is beyond insane. Walls do exist as an option in this game. They are pretty cheap and cost a very little amount of bricks. I feel like this inclusion adds a lot more depth to the game. Protection is such a nice option to add to your base. Ninjago battles, unsurprisingly, removes this, and instead makes the towers come in grande size.
What the f is this piece of shit?
But it's just not the same as it was. Oh yeah, and then there are bridges or whatever. You can build them to go across water. I mainly use this to blow up the enemies that try to go across my bridge. We do a little trolling here. But bridges are just here if you don't have any boats. Speaking of which, there is another building that makes exactly that. It's just that in the castle levels, it's not really important. The only utility boats have in castle stories are to help you find the bonus item. But yeah, in case you're wondering, there are indeed collectibles in these levels. The Lego studs, which allow us to purchase certain items at the shop. This includes characters, concept arts, maps, you name it. There are chests that are named mini kits. Sure. Collecting every mini kit in an act will unlock a character. You also get a character for just beating the story mode as well. Lastly, we got red bricks. Each red brick gives you a little cheat. Now, personally, you should beat the game normally before using these, but once we do finish, can't say it's not fun to screw around on the level. Now, I know what you're wondering. What are the stories? Well, let's check that out, shall we? First of all, we are forced to play through the first act as the king. Each story gives us a certain amount of cutscenes, which when looking back are pretty impressive for the DS, but then again you could probably get the Lorex to work on this console. The king is being invaded by wizards and their scouts, so as the king we tell them to stop it. Get some help. From what I can tell, it's a pretty basic story. The first act sees us do several tasks like get a scroll, protect farms or libraries. I recall having trouble on this one level where we gotta get the king through a forest without a castle. In retrospect, this isn't a hard level. Just build a bunch of knights to go through the forest first. Young me never thought of doing that. Instead, I always made my king go ahead.
Ladies first.
Each story we play, our heroes find allies. During the second act, the king befriends the dwarves because the wizard has befriended the troll. Oh yeah, let's transition over to the wizard story for a bit. Why don't we? The wizard actually isn't doing anything malicious. Although the only thing that you could do is malicious to say Mario 3 is better than Mario World. He's actually trying to bring back his longest wife using a wand that he has to put together. Although for the people saying, whoa, how could they talk about this in a Lego game? I have this to say. Frick you! Also, the wizard uses semicolons when speaking. I'm guessing as an attempt to convey that he's the smartest. But like, this ain't no English class. AP Lang? More like AP Lame.
That was so unfunny.
The wizard for almost the entirety of every act is just trying to collect pieces for his wand that just happen to be in the king's land. Why doesn't he just tell the king? Why do we need to start World War III? The world may never know. The wizard then befriends the trolls in the second act, canonically before the king befriends the dwarves. Also, the trolls and skeletons probably have the deepest friendship in the game, only tied with the alien and space criminals. There isn't much else to say about the king and the wizard, they're just simple stories. The king, I don't know, when's in his ending? Yeah! And the wizard brings back his wife from the dead at the end of his. Now, collecting all the mini kits always unlocks the allies to be playable in free play, and beating an entire story essentially unlocks the female version of the heroes, with one exception being reversed. That's the castle. Again, I don't have the most to say here, but at least the cutscenes are funny.
Is this serious?
Now we move on to the sea stories, which include pirates and imp rolls. Now when it comes to good guys and bad guys, I'm pretty sure pirates are supposed to be bad guys while imp rolls are good, which means we're playing as villains because I guess we're pirates. I'll admit, that's pretty clever. Unless you choose to play as the imp rolls, which I prefer, but you know. Then again, you aren't allowed to play as the imp rolls until you beat the first act as the pirates. Now the main gimmick here is the boats. That boats are the main focus, so we basically now battle in the sea. Not only that, but we get to pick a variety of boats now, so cool stuff. The pirates are trying to obtain a hidden treasure through a Mac Brickbeard stole. Honestly, a lot of stuff happens in the pirate story. It's hard to keep track of. During the second act, the pirates have to save the islanders' main hero. Then they befriend the islanders, who kidnap the leader, the imp rolls. So let's switch over to them for a second. What's the main story of the imp roll? Well, that would be nothing.
I have nothing!
Literally, there isn't anything the imp rolls do besides stop the pirates. It feels like they were just added solely as an antagonist against the pirates. Despite this, I prefer them. It's probably because of the music. Okay, it's almost entirely because of the music. It's because the Imperials have such good music. The pirates have okay music. It makes you feel kinda evil, but the Imperials are a whole nother level. The campaign theme, which is the main theme that plays when you gather and build stuff, goes all like... And then the battle theme conveys so much emotion. Why is it so good? Oh yeah, and then the Imperials befriend the ninjas, which I feel was an early state of Ninjago. That's all I thought about as a kid, at least. I once told my brother there was a secret ninja story. Why? I don't know. I was feeling a little diabolical. He didn't cry when I told him it wasn't true. Not sure why he was crying since you could have played, you know, the actual ninja game we had. Going back to the pirates, I spent a lot of time on this hard level. A lot of people still agree this is the hardest. It's a level where you gotta quickly build up bases while getting attacked by ninjas, and you have to survive an onslaught of Imperials. Sadly, I found out you can cheese this level. Just don't collect the chest at the beginning. This ends up giving you infinite amount of time to build up your base. The pirates end their story by getting the treasure, but getting bored and just deciding to go on another hunt. You know what the actual hardest level of the game is? The final level of the Imperials. You gotta move quickly for this level, because after like 20 seconds, they have like several ships attacking us. As Wolfie's Place once said, I can't deal with it! In the Imperials ending, they bury the pirates. Oh yeah, that's it. Now let's move on to space! So space is a popular theme for LEGOs. I feel like it's been here since the dawn of time. However, this game doesn't use the standard space theme. It actually uses Mars Mission, which explains why I couldn't find any images of LEGO sets back then. So Mars Mission mainly adds the aliens to the formula, so basically people who failed the human test. I wasn't aware of this until I replayed the game, but they both crashed on Mars. I always assumed Earth were the only ones that crashed on Mars, and aliens already lived there. But nope, they were both trying to get home the entire time. The reason for the Earth crashing is explained in the cutscene. I'm not gonna say it, just watch.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows, they know me.
Let's look at the stats, I've got the facts. My money like Lizzo, my pockets are fat.
Where it snows, I see it.
Homie, I'm epic, don't be a wap. Dog is eat.
You stupid.
Then the aliens are equally, if not more, stupid for crashing. Again, just watch it. Earth while having a fitting, creepy campaign theme and an epic battle theme are very fun to replay. Almost every level requires the player to retrieve a purple crystal to power the ship. This is cool the first time you do it, but it's not fun to replay. The space cops are a sick idea though, even though they have the least collected relationship. Like, I swear they are separated from Earth. They don't actually help. The level where you control the space police is arguably my favorite. I just love it.
It was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details.
It's also the only level the space police appear in the Earth story. Aliens have befriended the space criminals. Well, yeah, pretty obvious. The hero for the criminals has a broken yet awesome move where he can hotwire special units from the enemy and allow you to use them. Now, this alone is pretty good, but there's a bug where if the special unit is on top of a normal unit, you can straight up hotwire the normal unit. It doesn't stop with normal units. You can hotwire a damn building. You don't even need an opponent's special unit on top. You can just use your own unit. How did they let this slide? Earth's ending is where they escape and fly away back to their Earth, while aliens do the same, but to their home. The alien ending is where they escape, but Earth is left to die. At least we get to see him build his Lego set. You unlock Biff for beating the Earth story. Weirdly enough, I feel like he was originally meant to be the hero for the Earth story. After all, he's on the cover and he is the one chosen to return for LEGO battles. Also, it makes sense for him to find the crystals, as that's what's implied in the cutscenes. I replaced him for Gemma because female diversity, while also giving her the worst stats. Yeah, no jokes, she's actually the worst hero in terms of stats for the stories. Every female is just the worst version of the male in regard, except for speed. They have more speed. I think they forgot equal rights mean equal fights. Now, if you click all the mini kits in every act, you unlock an extra character that don't correspond with the stories. You got Ghost, Forestman, Sheriff, your mom, they're all here. The most interesting to me are Classic Spaceman, basically before Mars Mission, and Officer Chase, who's an older version of Detective Chase. Pretty cool, right? There's also Santa, who, if you don't know, you gotta play the game on Christmas. You know, use that pro gamer move that I explained in my second video.
Flashback.
You wanna take your DS and, go, this camera sucks.
go to settings. Yeah, and then you want to go to the date, and you want to change the date to December. So like 12. Make sure it's 1987. Oh wait, this is going backwards. And I actually literally forgot what day it was, and boom, there you go. You should get Santa Claus. Well, that's LEGO Battles. I'm glad I finally given the game its own video. And you know, was actually accurate this time, although I haven't 100%ed the game. I believe there was one achievement I never got. Let's see what that was. Yeah, I think this is a lost cause.